And we are rolling. Voice memo for later. It's just me again, solo. You guys are stuck with me. You're not going to hear anyone else's voice in this episode. And you know what's crazy is this moment is being captured and put online. And as long as it's not like somehow removed from the internet, which, you know, that seems to be a hard thing to do actually. Some people try like super hard to remove stuff from the internet, and like it's hard to do, you know, because people can save stuff. It's just, you know, it's hard to do. Especially if you don't want to remove it, which I don't. Is that, you know, it's pretty hard to do something you don't want to do. I guess what I'm saying is this is going to be captured forever. As long as us as a species, humans as a species, are alive, you know, as long as those servers are whirring, and it seems like that's gonna be, you know, that's where it is now, forever. As long as I'm confident, as long as humans are alive, we're gonna continue to have servers and keep those servers running, and you know. And then maybe AI is going to control everything, but that's going to continue. Like, there's no reason to expect at this point that, like, you know, with the technological boom we've been going through for, well, damn, when did it start? I don't know. It depends on what you think of when you think of technology. We talk about computers. I mean, damn, when was the first computer built? Like the 40s? Probably the 40s, I think. Yeah, that sounds about right. World War II. Yeah. I think it was like those were like the first computers. I'm not 100% sure. But it's just been going since then, right? It just keeps going and going and going. And there's little like moments in time, like, you know, a few years of time or a decade where it'll go like really, really quickly, like exceptionally quickly. Like probably the 90s. That was a pretty big boom. I mean, if you look at like where computers were like the late 80s, and then by the time the 90s were done, you get into 2000. Like, that's pretty crazy. But arguably even crazier could be like 2000 to 2010. Things changed pretty wildly then too. I don't know. It just keeps happening, right? It's like, when is it going to stop? How can it stop? I don't think I want it to stop. But part of me does. Part of me wants to selfishly just freeze time where it is. Although, to be honest, I wouldn't freeze it now. I would have freeze. This is the episode of Voice Memo for later where I learned how to talk again. I would have frozen it back in like the early 2000s. I've said this a lot of times before. I say this to a lot of people because I'm a weird guy. And I'm like, yeah, man, I would have frozen time in the 2000s. And they're like, all right, dude, I didn't even ask you about that. But no, I just think that, like, I don't know, right around somewhere in the range of 2000 to 2005, I think technology was like really nice. But it wasn't like intrusive. It was just really nice, you know? Like, the internet was super cool back then. Because it was just websites. It was just, people just uploaded HTML documents online. Just, some of them wrote it by hand in Notepad. Some of them used drag and drop, like visual editors, and then published it from there. But it's like, you just put files on some server. You're like, here you go. And then you had a website. Some people paid for domains and, you know, get some more bandwidth and all that. Some people just put it on free web hosts. A lot of people did that. That was some of the coolest, most interesting websites I ever visited. And most of them, sadly enough, probably aren't really around anymore because the hosts, you know, disappeared. And then the person who made the website didn't like bother moving anywhere else or anything. But, you know, it happens. But Yeah, there were some really cool websites that were just like on GeoCities. And if you remember, you remember. I'm sorry, this is such a cliche thing, but it's absolutely true. If you're listening to this right now, you remember that, you're like, oh, hell yeah, I remember that. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know. There's just no what you had to. It really is that cliche. Like, you had to be there. It was pretty cool, dude. You just had to be there. You missed out. But now everything's algorithms recommending content to you, and there's good parts to it, right? I like going onto YouTube. Don't get me wrong. I like going onto YouTube and finding like videos that I didn't even really know I wanted to see, and then I saw it, and I'm like, that's pretty cool. I do enjoy being able to like more easily discover like cool content. But also, like, I don't like that it just kind of feeds me myself, you know? It like turns you into a cannibal. You like self-cannibalize. You just eat yourself. You're like, yeah, that tastes good. Give me some more of me. It's like, don't you want to like step outside your shell and like learn something new and different that has nothing to do with any experience you've had before? I mean, that's a lot of people need that now. This is going to be another problem-solving episode where we solve the world's problems. Remember that episode? Props, man. If you're listening to this and you remember that episode from like, I don't know what, 2 episodes ago or something. It wasn't that long ago. It's just recently. It was like a couple weeks ago. But props to you if you're listening to this podcast sequentially and you're like, I remember that episode. Yeah, we're going to solve the world's problems. And I think conversation is just fucked, dude. Conversation is so fucked now because nobody is listening. People just don't listen. And I can say this because like when I was a kid, I was really obnoxious and I really had a hard time listening to people. I thought I was right about everything. I was an arrogant kind of fucking asshole kid. But I was also a really nice kid, and I did things by the book, and I didn't get into trouble at school and whatever. You know, people are complicated. You're not just one thing. But one of the things that I was when I was younger is I was an arrogant little prick. And it's weird because sometimes now I feel like I look around me, I'm like, man, the adults are arrogant little pricks. What is happening? Like, but then it's strange because it's like, then you isolate them, right? You talk to someone one-on-one, and then like, I don't know, everyone turns into a people pleaser, and then suddenly they're like, their hot take that like they were just like raging about on Twitter 2 seconds ago or wherever they were raging about it on. Now suddenly they're like, actually, I kind of agree with you, or like, no, that's a good point. It's like, okay, well then why are you getting all mad? Why is everyone getting angry? I think I listen to a lot of debates and just like online conversations. Like a lot of the content I like to consume these days is honestly, aside from like podcasts, and that's one thing, but like in addition to that, like, I don't know, things that you wouldn't call them podcasts. They're not podcasts, but they're like just people talking. I've kind of dove into this whole world of like streamers, but I don't really like watch streamers live. Usually it's just like their content. I watch their content after the fact when it's like the stream's uploaded on YouTube and stuff. If you don't know anything about this guy, you should check him out. Destiny. Check him out on YouTube or Twitch or wherever. Actually, no, wait, you can't. I forgot. You can't check him out on Twitch. As of right now, as of this day, I believe he's still banned on there, which is crazy because he's an extremely reasonable guy. But he like, and by the way, Destiny's a handle name. His real name is like Stephen Bunnell II or something like that. But yeah, anyway, Destiny, he like has all these like crazy conversations with people. He loves chaos. Apparently he just loves fighting with people. It like brings him joy. but he's a very reasonable, logical, like minded person, right? He doesn't let emotions dictate anything. It's actually crazy. I've never seen someone who can navigate life and emotion doesn't like dictate a thing to them. Like they're just immune. It's incredible. Or maybe he's just a really broken person. I don't know. But it's like unlocking the superpower, because he's able to actually think things through and come to a reasonable conclusion about the reality he sees in front of him. And it's interesting listening to people debate him, because people get so in their feelings about every single thing. They get so uptight and triggered by just nothing. But it prevents them. The crazy thing is, it like prevents them from like making any headway whatsoever into like understanding the thing that they're talking about better, and like being able to like think of like what are the solutions to these problems, right? Because usually, a lot of times in a debate, right, like the whole point is like there's an angle to this thing, and then there's another angle to this thing. Usually this thing in the middle that the two people are coming out from different angles is some kind of a problem, right? And you're trying to solve that problem. You're like, what's the best way to proceed? And someone's like, I think it's A. And the other person's like, you're full of shit, I think it's B. And then they go at it, right? But sometimes in debate, like, it's just lost. The whole like point of it is lost, right? It's like, well, weren't we trying to figure out this problem? I mean, and now obviously some people do just debate like literally as like sport. They're just like, I just want to win. I mean, that's why there's like debate clubs and debate competitions and stuff. Like, literally people will like argue a side they don't even agree with. Like, they'll play devil's advocate, like just literally as a sport. So there is that. But generally speaking, like, debate comes from like trying to solve a problem. There's like two people, or maybe more than two people, and they're trying to figure out a problem, or trying to figure out a solution to the problem rather. And people get so lost in the weeds of like optics and like just feelings. It's like, I don't know. It's like, okay, if you're, let's say, because there's an example I could use. There's multiple examples I could use that would be super, super triggering to a lot of people. And I'm not trying to like get canceled before I even have a platform. Okay. I'm not so we'll try to take it a little easy. I'll just use like some abstract thing as an example. Okay. So this is something that happens a lot. But with like crazier, more like real topics, but like we'll just make this weird abstract thing up. Okay. Let's say that you think that like, well, let's say, okay, I don't know. Let's say we live in a world of boxes. Okay. And there's like red boxes, there's green boxes, and there's blue boxes. Okay. And for some reason, like, green boxes are like to be avoided. People don't like green boxes. We want to minimize the amount of green boxes out there, because green boxes like hurt people somehow. I don't know. It's a bad thing. Green boxes are horrible. We want to avoid them, but they are out there, right? And I don't know. It's like, if you could be like discussing this issue where it's like, oh man, how do we get rid of these green boxes, right? And someone will bring up a point of like, well, if we could understand better like how to create green boxes, we could understand how to like, destroy them or delete them or whatever. We have to figure out how to create a green box. We have to understand that process of how green boxes come to be. And in order to do that, I propose we build a green box, right? But it's going to take a little time, and we'll build one green box. But if we, in the process of building this bad green box, right, we're going to understand the process of how one is made, how they come to be in existence in the first place, and then that's going to lead to like developing a solution to like get rid of like most green boxes, right? There's like thousands or millions, maybe billions of green boxes in this world, and you're like, we don't want any of them, right? It's like, okay, we need to make one green box, but this will probably lead to like a solution where I can't guarantee it, but it's very likely, it seems, I've done some research, and it seems really likely that if we make this green box and do our research and development, right, we'll be able to destroy like thousands, maybe millions of green boxes once we have this understanding. And then like, so person A is like, we need to like learn how this works. We need to build a green box, but this will allow us to get rid of all the other green boxes, right? And then person B will just get stuck on that in a loop, and they'll be like, how dare you? You want to build a green box? Do you hate people? You want green boxes? How dare you? It's like, okay, dude, I mean, I guess you win. Like, what do you want me to say to that? Like, what the fuck do you want me to say? Like, you're not open to solutions. You're just open to like people like getting mad along with you and agreeing with you. Like that's not productive. That's not going to get us anywhere, right? But like people just get hung up on that thing. They're just like, "Oh, how dare you even talk about this, let alone take action in a way that's not the best thing that could happen at the beginning, even though it's going to lead to like better results." It's like people don't care about the results. They just care about like the argument. And it's so crazy. I just don't understand it. I really don't understand it. But it's weird because the world was not always like this. Like I distinctly remember like I would be like at family events when I was a kid, or I'd be like out like with friends and whatever. And people disagreed. And life went on. There was no huge thing about it, right? We didn't do like, if you disagree with someone, you just argued with them. And you're like, that's dumb, and blah, blah, blah. And then like an hour later, you guys are both like tired of arguing. And you're like, so I was going to get like a large pepperoni pizza, but did you guys want like cheese sticks too? And the person you're just arguing with like, yeah, cheese sticks sound good. I love cheese sticks. And you're like, yeah, me too, bro. And like, that was it. It just, you moved on. But now it's like somebody, wants to build a green box to get rid of the other green boxes. And it's like, as soon as they even mention the word, they don't even have to say box yet. They just say green. And everyone's like losing their mind and saying, you need to just die. Just go in a corner and die. It's like, I don't know. It's hard to figure out how you get back from all that. Like how we like reset to like what that used to be like. Like, and I'm not one of those like stupid, like arrogant, just bitter old men. That's just like, and I'm not even an old man, by the way. I'm 33. That's not an old man. But I know you youngins, you Gen Zers are going to call me old. So just hear me out. Okay. I'm not one of those like, bitter old people that's like, oh, we need to return everything to how it was. I was like, no, there's a lot of dumb things that were, and now they're not. And that's good. Like, or they're different and it's better now. We don't need to reset the world back to, freaking 2000 or 1995 or whatever the hell. There are things that we did back then, or the ways that we interacted with each other that was like good compared to now. That's like, I don't know how we can get back to that. Like another thing that I was thinking about this earlier. I was in a meeting at work and I was thinking about like, cause I'm listening to this lady like talk. I say this lady cause I don't know this person. This was like a new person. She doesn't even work for my company. She works for another company, and we're working with them on something. And like she, so I don't know who this person is. I'm just meeting her now, right? And she's like, I don't know. She's got glasses and she's got like a water bottle sitting right next to her. It's like this nice water bottle, and like, she's probably got her coffee right there, and it's just like, she's very organized, and she's very like, not bubbly, that's the wrong word, but just like very amicable and friendly and but professional. And I'm just like, I don't, I have no idea what this person's like in, I don't know, outside of work. Right. And I'm sure she's great or whatever, but it's like, I'm very much not like, I don't know, I'm not that person, I guess, who's like really organized and structured, and she probably goes to like yoga every day or something, like, and I hate yoga, and not because I think yoga's bad, I just suck at it and I don't like doing it. But like, I don't know, and maybe we would get along great, maybe we wouldn't get along, maybe we would like really like not agree with each other much. But what I don't know any of that stuff, right? I'm just guessing at what could be, and who knows, I'm just like, it's based on nothing. What I do know is that we need people like her. Whether I do or don't agree with her, whether I, none of that, it's irrelevant. We need people like her, because you need people that are organized. They're super organized, and they can, they can coordinate these meetings and have all these people together and on the same team and document stuff. It's like you need organized like management type people, like and at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you agree with them or you disagree with them or you think they're whatever, this or that. You need those people, but you also need other people, right? You need different types of people. And this is another like cliche thing, like it takes all types of people or whatever, but that's true. It's absolutely true. And I think as I'm getting older, I'm realizing more and more how true that is. Like, so you gotta get over yourself, get outside yourself, and like, just, allow other people. You don't even have to agree or like implement anything from it necessarily. But at least listen. Just listen to what other people are saying. Even if the first thing that they say that comes out of their mouth is extremely stupid, just hear them out, right? Like there was a comic yesterday at the open mic, and he started off saying something that sounded pretty racist, and it was weird. And I was like, this is uncomfortable. But I stuck it out, and I'm listening. I didn't start screaming, at him or whatever. I mean, that'd be dumb anyway. I'm another comedian, so it's like, why would I yell at a comedian on stage? Like, that's stupid. But like, I listened, right? I was like, well, this could go somewhere. It could end up being funny, right? And it never was, and it got more racist sounding, and it was terrible, and I felt really I think the whole room felt extremely uncomfortable the whole entire time. And it was horrible. But nobody shouted him off set. We listened, and then we assessed after the fact, yeah, I think that guy's a little racist. Like, and he wasn't funny. Like, okay, cool. But that's fine. I don't what am I gonna, go start being friends with the guy? Like, I don't need to ever talk to that guy again. Well, I didn't even talk to him at all. See, that's how little I have to be involved with our lives don't have to intersect at all, right? And that's like a weird specific example, but like, just hear people out, even if they just say something dumb off the top. Like, hear them out, and then like the worst that can happen from that is you feel like time was wasted at the end. And you're like, yeah, this guy is like an asshole and fuck that guy. Okay, then fuck that guy then. So what? And you move on, right? Like, but the upshot is so good, right? If you just listen to people, you just hear them out. Like, the upshot is so good of like, you could like hear interesting new ideas that you've never been exposed to before. And you're like, oh, I've never even considered it that way. You might, like, some people disagree with each other and they talk it out and they become best friends. And you might meet a new person that you love the shit out of, and it's like your favorite person in the world. Like, you never know what's going to happen. But just like, man, just like let it play out. Let life play out a little bit before you just like get fucking pissed off, I guess that's what I would say. If you're listening to this and you think that you fall into this a little bit, and you know what? If you think you don't fall into this, I challenge you to reconsider. You might fall into this a little bit, right? And to some degree, we all do a little bit at least, right? All of us like make this mistake sometimes where we like judge someone really quick or whatever, and we're like, fuck you. Like we all do that a little bit. But some of us do it more than others, and look, man, and that squeak is because my dog is here insisting that I pull her fake keys away from her. And it's, she's got a membership card to K9. Unlimited weird hot dogs, whatever that means. Can you hear that? I wonder if you can actually hear that on the podcast. Well, you can hear the squeaking, obviously, but when she shakes it... Here, shake it again. Shake it. Well, now I'm shaking it, but let's see. Shake it. Well, now you're not going to do it. Seriously? Okay, she's seriously not going to do it. Okay, whatever. Well, a second ago, she shook it. I think it was you could probably hear it. Thanks for derailing the podcast, dog. Man, how long have I been recording, actually? Let me check it out. 24 minutes. This is probably going to be a short episode anyway, to be honest. I got shit to do. But, yeah, dude, just, listen to people a little bit, just hear them out. and you never know where it can go. Yeah, you know what? I'll just end it there. This is a super short episode. I'm sorry if you don't like that. If you love that, you're welcome. And we'll talk later, man. All right, peace.